So I don't want you guys thinking that I'm just deterring from my walkthroughs and through my gameplays. Normally we kind of like touch base on some new gems, as well as that new channel that I made. We did hit over like 1,200 subs. We are going to upload on that. You guys know I've been dealing with my pug situation. We're just trying to find him a home because currently right now, due to the health concern and the amount of ridiculous things that vets try to put me through with the prices, I would rather try to give him to someone who can further take care of him than me having to do something like me having to pursue a situation with the vet that I don't want to make that decision. Call me weak, but I love that. I love my little pug too much, man. So just forgive me if I'm taking a little bit too long to drop walkthroughs. These videos seem to be fun to do. They're easy to do. You got to read and you just got to learn what's going on with the industry. And because of that, you guys enjoy some of that information, and everybody's still excited to play some GTA, as well as knowing what the heck is going on with PlayStation. So let's talk about this, and I appreciate all the love y'all been showing me in the comment section, as well in DMs and on stream as well. So let's get to it. So recently I dropped a video discussing the PS5 Pro with the 60 frame per second mode for GTA 6. There's a chance it may or may not come at launch. This is coming from a leaked source that's close to Rockstar. However, there's other stuff that I told you guys about, which I don't always kind of touch base on in detail, because there is a weird hate that goes on when it comes down to Xbox. And there's a conversation that needs to be had that a lot of people just do not like to hear, because either they're a big fan of Xbox, they own an Xbox, and they just think that somebody's just trying to reach for some views and stuff. But the truth of the matter is, there's been many games that had come out within the last 6 years, 5 years, or 4 years, whatever, that they've had to delay the game, not just because the game wasn't completed yet. It was due to optimization issues. But when you look further in depth into these optimization issues, a lot of the time it had to do with the Series S, not the Xbox Series X. Any Series X owners, you have a powerful console. Like, it's better than a Steam machine. I don't care what anybody says. The PS5 is a powerful console, and the PS5 Pro, of course, no doubt about it. The issue with the Series S is that it was made to, I guess, for anybody else who, it was a more affordable price. Now they're pricing it like the original Series X price. But many developers have delayed their games due to trying to hit the release date margins for that console, because the way I don't want to say the way Microsoft kind of has it set in place is that when you release a game for Xbox, you have to release the game for the Series S and the Series X. So Wukong and many other titles were delayed on that process, and it looked like PlayStation got the exclusive rights to it. But no, it wasn't that at all. It was that Xbox has their rules in place that kind of makes it a little bit difficult, but we understand they're not trying to leave no soldier behind. We get that. Now, this new article here that we're about to read also comes from a gentleman by the name of Remigius. I don't know. He got like 1.44 million subscribers. I don't know where he's from exactly. However, he is someone who reports on a lot of news that he gets very close related kind of sources. Like, he knows a lot of people who's credible. And simply input, I did a translation, and I'm gonna read to you guys what exactly he says, and I'm gonna read to you the article. So in this podcast, he actually breaks down that there is crunch in the process. So as I reported that too, that's an official thing that's going on. Rockstar is dealing with crunch right now. The employees are day in and day out sleeping in the office, staying over there, which might be cool as heck, but at the same time, you understand the pressures of it. Also, it's a really difficult time as well, because you now know that these people are working there with the fear of possibly losing their job after. And as I reported, they're not getting the fair treatment under their union to try to stabilize their career and make sure that they're still going to be there even after the game is launched, because there's a lot of weird things going on. So he did confirm, yes, crunch is still going on. He has a credible source to somebody that he knows from Rockstar, but he said it's a single source. It's not like he knows a group of people. It's only one person. And also confirming that the game is in the optimization stages. So they're trying to optimize the game right now currently. And although Microsoft, you have to release their games at the same time, the S and the Series X, I believe they allow developers to release different specs for both games. So of course, they're not going to look like the Series X. The X can push way further in power. However, the Series S might be hindered a little bit in frame rate or resolution. So Rockstar's in that stage right now, trying to compensate for all these frame rates and resolution and different modes for the PS5 Pro, et cetera, et cetera. So it seems like the S is kind of holding things back. So let's go ahead. I'm going to read this article right here. I'll link it below if you guys are interested. but it's not a situation that you guys want to see. I don't care about this console war situation. Both sides right now is in such a nasty spot that even though we say PC gaming is really number one, PC gaming is going through their own fair share of hiccups too, especially someone who's trying to get into PC gaming because it's expensive. So let's go ahead and read it. It says GTA 6 reports warns major downgrade for Xbox fans. A new GTA 6 report warned that a major downgrade for some Xbox fans. Grand Theft Auto 6 is not just the most anticipated game of release of all time, as we all know that, but the most anticipated release in the entertainment history. Excuse me. Let me slow down. The expectations for the game and the pressure on Rockstar Games to deliver an unimaginable is quite not there yet. This is bad enough because the situation is even trickier than most know. So we all know the game, come on, man, they haven't missed on a GTA game. You might have a favorite, least favorite, but you know for a fact they have not missed. It says here, one of the benefits of skipping PC at launch is that you don't have to scale your optimization across a wide range of machines. That is absolutely true. The benefit of this game not dropping on the Switch yet or the PC is that you are focusing on two hardwares that are very similar. One may have an exclusive thing, one may have an exclusive part, but they are very similar. It's not the 360 and the PS3 where it was hard to make a game on the PS3 for those that don't remember. That's why games look like shit, play like shit, and were optimized like crap on the PS3 until like maybe 4 years into the life cycle, like 3-4 years in. It said by just having a PS5 and an Xbox Series X at launch, Rockstar Games has only two targets, both of which are very similar, or at least this would be the case for the Xbox Series S didn't exist. However, as you may know, the Xbox Series S has given the developers trouble in the past, as I mentioned that, and as a result, games had to cut content or give their game a substantial downgrade to make it work on the underpowered Xbox. To this end, and according to the new report, those Xbox Series S can plan on playing a substantial inferior version of GTA 6. It's not looking good. Not looking good at all. Whoever got a Series S, you're probably in the ballpark of maybe being a kid, maybe a father who's like, hey man, I just want to try some games out and may not know or understand the scale of this console stuff, or just couldn't afford it and you settled with the S and maybe not care about resolutions and frame rate, and you're just like, I just wanted something to have. So that can be, that's debatable. The new report comes from the way of Remy Guess. I don't know how to pronounce his name, forgive me. A source who recently leaked that The Witcher 3 was getting a new DLC before it was revealed, and it ended up being true. A lot of people went crazy over that as well. And it says before it was reported by anybody else. Suffice to say, the popular Polish YouTuber, oh, he's from Poland, okay, has sources. And according to him, Rockstar Games is aiming to have GTA 6 running at 60 frames per second on the PS5 and the Series X at launch. So they're saying that they want this game to run at 60 frames on the base Xbox Series X. There's no other version of it that's enhanced, and a PS5. So this is where it gets a little tricky because the PS5 Pro, Digital Foundry said they feel like they don't have definitive answers yet, but from what they've seen, they're like, this game might run at 40 frames best because we've seen how much traffic this game has, whether on the beach, if you're driving in the public settings in the game, there's a lot of traffic. And what happens with a lot of traffic in video games, your frame rate starts to get hindered. It's rare that you find a game that is always going to be locked at 60 frames because nowadays they get money, they charge us, and we ask questions later, I guess. I don't know. They just don't give a shit. And a lot of games don't go gold at launch. We know this for a fact. It says, however, the same expectation for the Series S does not exist. The expectation for the Series S is that the game will run at 30 frames. If so, it doesn't matter as long as there's no delays because, Jesus, I'm tired of these delays. It says, of course, there is nothing wrong with 30 FPS. Both GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 were 30 FPS when they launched, and it's hard to imagine GTA 6 being 60 FPS at launch on PS5 and Xbox Series X. If Rockstar Games achieves 60 FPS and it does it at launch, it's one of the most impressive technical achievements in video game history. I will say I agree. GTA is such a huge scale of a game. You guys want living worlds. You guys want an open world where you got cops chasing people randomly. You have nothing to do with it. You want the life to feel like it's live, like you want dynamic weather. You want all these things to happen, right? That's the comparison that I was trying to make with Mafia and other open worlds where things don't happen unless you're there. Like unless you're in these entry areas and it's within a radius. However, the way Rockstar moves, at least in a larger radius, there's a life going on. And as you keep driving further, it gets more dynamic in the setting, and they make sure that it looks like there's always life going on. That's what makes their games incredible. So it also says here, to get a game like GTA 6 to run at 60 FPS on the base PS5 and Xbox Series X would be an incredible accomplishment. Again, 30 FPS is not bad at all. This was an expectation for the game, but if everyone else is playing GTA 6 at 60 FPS, other than the Series S, users that is going to feel bad. I mean, are you guys going to feel bad for the Series S? I personally won't. That's a choice if you're buying the Series S. If it's because of money situations, I completely understand, though. I do. It says, that said, remember to take this with a grain of salt as both unofficial information and pending development progresses. Now, then again, when we look back at what we know from this gentleman, he's been around in the public eye many times, and this guy has been hitting home runs ever since. So again, my whole big thing for you guys is, of course, I know many of you guys in the comment section expressed you don't care for 60 FPS, but there is a few of you who actually do. And I believe I know why, and I could be wrong, but I'm gonna tell you guys why I care. The reason why it means a lot for me is not because, oh, I want fluid smoothness. I will play GTA at 30 frames. I don't care. If you're a shooter, a race car game, or a certain game that requires 60, dude, don't play us and don't give it to us at 30 frames. That shit needs to be 60. But in this scenario, the reason why I care, though, that if it is 60 is simply because when these consoles were promoted, they didn't just promote their console to be one of the most powerful pieces of machinery, right? That can power just some of the greatest library of games, right? They promoted it in such a way that they even showed us all these nanites or whatever these things are called that like would take up, it would be like a million of these little pixel thingies that would create this stone, right? I think Mark Cerny or somebody like that was describing it. And when describing all this, they're saying there's living open worlds that can be to the mass. Like you'll be able to live in these worlds and experience these worlds. That's the same. That's why we purchased it for $500, $600, $700, because we realized at the time, well, I've always been a PC gamer, but you realize you may not have to opt into spending $1,500 to $2,000 on PC components. You can play your console and have somewhat of an experience there that matches that. And when Mark Cerny talks about PSSR and 60 frames, same thing with Microsoft with 60 frames, you're thinking you're achieving these things, but most developers, y'all, have been dropping games at 30. So you don't feel like you're getting what you've paid for. But again, it's all about choice. It's your choice. It's whatever you decide to do. But again, you got some people somewhere around here in the comments who try to diminish that. Everybody has a right to feel how they feel. What I don't like is when people don't have the correct information, and I'm a proponent of that. Sometimes I used to talk so much like as if I knew, and I had to take a back seat and just realize you need to start reading more rather than just listening to just hearsay, and get some sources yourself, like, or else you're just going to be lost in a bubble. So there I say, if you are somebody who is waiting for the PC version, we don't know when that's coming out. I don't even think that's not a day one. We obviously see that. If you have a Series S and you care that much, I would say put money together, save your money, and try to get the Series X. I have been saying this for a long time. I'm not a fan of the S. I feel like when they dropped the S, they did too much around that time. They did Game Pass for $1. They dropped Xbox Series S alongside the X, and I'm like, you dropped two variants of this console trying to play face, and it ended up hindering your whole generation. Your games started getting delayed. People gotta imagine Xbox 360 versus the PS3. It was so hard to make games on Blu-ray and the coding of which PS3 games took. It was difficult, but they had great games at the beginning. Until they were able to master that and developers dropped games on the PS3 like no problem from like 2010 and up, it was over for Microsoft. There's no debate on that. PlayStation started doing a lot better and actually reached Xbox, and I think it passed them a little bit too later on. But Microsoft has always made it easy for people to make games, apps, and all these other things. This time around, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that Series S. That's probably one of the worst decisions ever made for a console next to the Nintendo Wii U. Remember that shit? You play with a big-ass handheld, but it came with a box. It came with a lunch box, like a big-ass disc box. Why? You know? Now, the Switch is the version of, like, That's what you should have dropped at the time. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't want to ramble too much about this. Man, just give me the game. Just give me the game. And I got a video dropping about trailer 3, but I didn't want to just spam you guys today. So I'm going to try to take a chill pill with it. All right. I love you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. And thank y'all for all the prayers and the love y'all been showing me. And please hit the like button and subscribe, man. We are out. Peace.